What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Sit down. We got a big one today because it looks like the Snap team, they finally got together and they talked to themselves and they realized to get the old patch hammer out to smash the breaking case of emergency glass for the first ever supersized OTA. We have 13 different changes to cards across Marvel Snap today because, well, this is the last patch of November because of the holidays. And with that, we've got a lot of winners, losers, and cards with a one-way ticket to the Shadow Realm. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's jump in. Now we start with Thanos, and it's just a minor text change, but it brings a lot. His stats are staying at a 610, but he's now getting the Agatha effect, which is effectively thinning your deck. So how Thanos used to work, guys, is he used to obviously start in your opening hand, and he counted for one of the cards that you would draw at the beginning of the match. But now you're going to draw Thanos, and then when the game begins, you're going to draw the cards. So he's effectively not only thinning the deck, but now just much better because you're getting more access to the Thanos deck, and all the stones are staying the same. They didn't nerf any of the stones in the draw engines that they provide. Thanos, if you guys don't know, if you watch the Snapchat, he was actually one of the biggest losers right now, just not doing good across the board in the win rate category. But he's getting a lot better. They didn't want to introduce some new stone changes that they have in store for the card this patch because they're taking a long break, and if that broke the game, they would have no way to fix it, so that is understandable. But it looks like the Mad Titan is getting even more changes past this. But this alone should make him more fun, more playable, and they even said that they're kind of leaving it up to us to see how it all goes. That's not exactly what they said, but they are letting us test just how crazy the Mad Titan can get. This is definitely going to make him much better, and I think, you know, we don't need Thanos being absolutely crazy, the only deck people play, but definitely I think at least a card in a deck that I want to start playing again in Marvel Snap. So this was probably my winner of the patch. What's up, guys? Editor Cozy here. It's late at night. Don't want to wake up the kid. Gonna keep the voice down. Have a nice candle on. Good vibes. But important message. My hoodie strings are just, they're fucking bothering me. Now, moving right along, we have Black Widow, and I'm unsure if this is a buff, if this is a nerf. To me, it's kind of a nerf, but I'll let you guys decide. She's going from a 3-3 on reveal. You would add a Widow's Bite to your opponent's hand to now a 3-4, so kind of hello buff, but activate, add a Widow's Bite to your opponent's hand. And look, guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what I'm thinking here about Natasha. I think this is not good, right? When you look at activate, the higher cost card it is, the worse it is as an ability. And to me, I just think I would rather this as an on reveal. It's not like you're playing that on turn 6 anyway. This gives you a bit more agency when you're going to put it out there. So, you know, maybe it is just fine. I think it's that I liked her at a 2 cost. And now that you can bounce this back, I would have preferred this at a 2 cost activate ability. And so that's where it's tough. I'd like the agency that it gives us to be able to stop your opponent from drawing cards, let's say on turn 6. However, if it was a 2 cost, then it could kind of impact locations. Maybe, right? So with 3, you know, locations have already happened, and so I don't know exactly how this is going to work out. I'm going to have to play this myself to really get a feel for it in Darkhawk and in the decks that it likes. I know people were doing Grandmaster, Misery, a lot of that, and I don't think they like that very much. Hence the change, but this is one of those. I'll have to play test. Let me know. Let me know what you think about the old Black Widow here. 3-4, though, not bad. Let's move right along to a card that people have been waiting to get buffed for a while now. Jessica Jones is going from a 4-5 with an on reveal. If you don't play a card at her location the next turn, she gets +4 power. Well, now, guys, she's getting a +5 power, making her a 4-10. Now, right off the bat, you guys might be thinking, but oh no, what about Shang-Chi? And it looks like they already addressed this in the text, saying that in all the measurements that they have, that it does not make a card worse by giving it more power and making it in the Shang-Chi threshold. Now, it is good to note that this is not going to make Surtur any better, and it's not going to make that card activate because the way that she triggers, it gets to 10 power. But it will make Skarr a little bit easier to play in an alternative to some of the other cards like Typhoid Mary or whatever you were playing in your Skarr decks, but more on him later. Stay tuned. But yeah, Jessica Jones is a card I think we've all been waiting to get touched up a bit. I guess Second Dinner just freaking hates rescue. I don't know. There's a couple cards, man. There's a lot to talk about in this patch, but like, you know, Adam Warlock, rescue, I mean, just, oh, goodbye. They suck. They're gone. They're gone. They're out of this game. I haven't seen them in forever. So clearly those aren't getting any love, but Jessica Jones is a card that everybody has, and it's definitely one that I think is going to get played a bit more. Some people were playing it after Storm, and that was kind of a cool combo. That's not the case anymore. And notably, if you were to, like, I don't know, Odin her, then she would get a little bit more power. Absorbing Man, small little buff as well. So it's nice to see. So Jessica Jones going to a 410. Next up on the list, we have Destroyer, who was a 614 on reveal. It would destroy your cards at the other locations. To a whopping 2 power change to a 616. Just climbing on up, guys. Climbing on up. I know a lot of people kind of missed the way the old Destroyer used to work, and I'm kind of one of those now that we've gotten a lot of play testing, but they said before they go back to that change, they want to see what it looks like with him getting more power overall, and I'm all for it. We'll go ahead and see how this works combined with the next card we're going to talk about. I think this might give the overall kind of Destroyer archetype a bit of a boost. The bots still play him like the old way, which is hilarious when you watch that and you go up against that when you're climbing up to infinite. But Destroyer, yeah, you know, just definitely a niche card and needs more love. I think you could probably give him even more power, but time will tell if we get even more power to this, if this is fine, or we go back to the old ability. But nonetheless, it's nice to see. Now, the next Destroyer card I was talking about is one that I've been waiting to get buffed up, and I'm excited about it, and that is Bucky Barnes, more specifically Winter Soldier, going from a 2-6 to a 2-7. Now, for me personally, Winter Soldier was like one of those cards when I started playing Marvel Snap, kind of got me falling in love with the game and the Destroyer archetype. I just loved him. I mean, heck, I used him on the thumbnail. I just loved him as a card. I think he's really cool and the way that he interacts with Destroy, but as you move along and get more cards in your collection, you realize he's just not making the cut. And so I think they're trying to get him into more Destroy decks, and there's more ways to play Destroy now. And hey, listen, a 2-7. 2-7 is not bad, so I definitely think this is a nice change. We'll have to see if it's enough to go ahead and warrant him in Destroy builds. I think that's what they're trying to encourage. But when you got cards like Bruce Banner hulking out, man, this card's going to be stupid. When you have cards like this, it makes Bucky look pretty, I don't know, not exactly great. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about here, go ahead and check out all the leaked cards. Just covered all of them in 2 different videos. A lot to break down there. There's a lot to save up for, so make sure you guys go and check that out. Now we're going to keep on chugging along. We got 3 more cards with a buff. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot to break down today. Valentina, who is effectively staying the same. However, the random 6-cost card that she now generates in your hand is only going to have -2 power opposed to -3, which this is definitely a step in the right direction for Valentina. I think for the most part, a lot of these 6-cost cards, even though they cost nothing to play, it was nice to play them early. The con was just too much, right? But -2 power is not as big of a deal, right? I mean, it's taken off 33% of the negative power that it had. So maybe this gets people playing more Valentina. She was obviously in the spotlight this week. And so if you got her through that, great. Awesome. You got a little bit of a better card. We have a lot of shield cards coming in January to reference the leak videos again. And so that's going to tie in directly with all of this. I don't know. I'm going to give Valentina a try again. It's a card that I like the idea of, but in practice, she just doesn't work all that much. I find that people just love dependable stuff, and Valentina is anything but dependable. All right, then we're going to rapid fire through the last 2, but we'll talk about them a bit here. Heimdall going from a 6-9 up to a 6-10, and Crystal going from a 3-3 to a 3-4. So in the case of Crystal, she's still going to do exactly what Crystal does, right? She's going to be in those combo decks. If we see high voltage, she'll get some more play rate there. Crystal's just a weird card, man. Giving your opponent the draw, same as you. We've got another card. Sorry to reference the leak cards again, but we have another card that's coming out that just gives you a draw, but you skip your next turn. And I think ultimately that might be just a bit better for those combos decks. We're going to have to see. But who knows? You can combine that with Crystal and see how this whole thing goes. Heimdall, on the other hand, look, I'm pumped. I love Heimdall. Anytime Heimdall gets a little bit of power, I'm all for it. I'm going to stand on the ground, stand on the business that I think Heimdall should get a little left or right arrow, and you get to pick what side the cards go. I think, I don't know, giving him a little bit of surprise factor would be nice for the god that protects the Bifrost. Almost forgot what that thing was called. But yeah, these are okay changes. I think these are fine move players. A little bit over the top is nice. Another Skarr card, you know, you got that too. But, you know, I guess on that note, we might as well talk about the nerfs because this does wrap up the buffs. Now, history has been made, folks. You are part of history today while watching this video. Surtur, the season pass card, who we all knew was absolutely crack crazy busted, being a 3-5. And after you played a card with 10 or more power, this gains +3 power. Well, the fastest nerf ever to a card, Surtur is going down to a 3-4. And here's me playing a collection of all the different gifts of shocked faces and surprise. I can't believe this is happening, guys. This was just like Red Hulk when he came out, right? Like, we all knew we all knew, and that was before his like I think he's gotten a couple nerfs since he came out. We knew this card was not going to last long, and you know, they say every now and then this happens where the player base gets their hands on a card and it goes buck wild, but I think a lot of us read this ahead of time and we knew we knew this guy was going to be crazy. And crazy he was. He's all over the meta. His play rate is insane. It's kind of all you see out there. And we're on a lot of nerfs, guys. There's a ton of meta impacting nerfs that we're about to talk about, and this is obviously obviously the one that we need to start with first, because a lot of you guys probably got this card. He's still going to be good. He's still fine. He's going to be great. He'll be okay. But he did get another friend of his touched up a little bit, and Skarr is going from a 6'11 down to a 6'10. Sadly, guys, they clipped Skarr's wings before he could fly. You know, in January, this card came out and everyone said he sucked, and now this is happening. And we kind of knew this is how it would happen. If you go back and look at those videos, we all kind of talked about Skarr being one of those cards that is going to sit really well in Marvel Snap, because there's bound to be so many cards coming out that continue to get his cost up. We have another one coming out later in Gore. And so they're trimming the fat a little bit here. They're trimming some of his muscles down from a 6'11 to a 6'10. Still a lot of power to get out. Obviously, it's one power less. He's going to be in line with She-Hulk now. But yes, that deck overall looks like the play rate was way too good, and they'd rather be safe and take it down a bit. Now, next up, guys, we have a change that's kind of crazy to look at, man. I still can't believe where kind of cards are going to, but we have Agent Venom. Yep, last month's Season Pass card going from a 2-4 on reveal, set the power of all your cards to 4, to a 2-5 on reveal, set the power of all your cards to 3. And all I see here, guys, is a 2-5 with no drawbacks and buffs. This is still ridiculous. I can't believe they gave him more power, but they brought down the 4 that he gave as a 2-4 and all the 4s. They kind of killed his Cerebro effect, which no one was playing anyway, really all that much, in the comments of people playing it. And they gave him a power buff, and they made everything now 3, which should definitely, I mean, across the deck, dramatically take down some of its powerfulness, still remaining a strong deck, but not the only thing you see out there. Agent Venom and the Surtur decks, they kind of dominated Marvel Snap, and so I think they're trying to trim that a little bit around the holidays, allow people to have some fun around here. But yeah, a lot of cards still benefit from this. There are plenty. That 3 power is going to be nice and neat, and you compare that with Bass, and now you have that kind of both the cards that do the 1-3 kind of thing. But now he's a 2-5. So playing him on turn 2 is still crazy, and is going to keep you up in the priority game, and the Iron Man, Mystique stuff. All that's still going to work quite efficiently, and the bounce cards still going to have a punch to it. Anyway, I'm just kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of shocked it got up to a 2-5, but I don't know. The nerfs do not stop there. We got Silver Sable going from a 1-1 down to a 1-0. Now, let me just say this. I'm actually glad that she's still stealing 2 power, not 1 power. I'm glad that they affected her base power instead of this. And overall, I think that's going to keep the card very competitive. They said that to their metrics, Sable is just one of the most dominant 1-cost cards in the game. No surprise there. She's stealing power. She's giving it to herself. She's great pretty much no matter when you play her. Just a really good card overall. And most of the top-end decks had Silver Sable in them. I don't think, this will definitely, make her worse, right? But I still think she's going to be fine. She's going to be a card worth playing. Anytime we get one of those cards that are just dominating a cost, they do get rid of that. And I'm pretty sure when I covered her in my video, I gave her stability a pretty low star rating. I had a feeling that she might eventually get some sort of nerf, which is why I do that category in my videos. But either way, yep, Silver Sable going down to a 1-0. So those that played her a lot, including myself, damn it. All right, guys, Shadow King. Look at this guy, man. Went up to a 2-3 last OTA, and he's back down to a 2-2. This should come at zero surprise. Shadow King was one of those cards that a lot of people were confused, like why he got buffed up. He was already kind of all over and really good, and I kind of mentioned I think that they did that to get people playing the card more. And they did. He was everywhere. I think he was like 25%. 1 in 5 games had Shadow King after a while, and so it definitely did the job. He's going from a 2-3, 2-2. Still does what he does. He's going to be just fine. He was fine before the buff. So now he's just where that is, right? So all's good there. So there you have it, guys. That is the first supersized OTA where we've got all of these changes that you're seeing right now on screen. Quite a lot of them. Overall, not too impactful. I think you are going to see a shift in the top-end meta decks with Skarr and Agent Venom and whatnot. And Thanos is definitely going to get a bit more popular. Maybe Winter Soldier is going to enter the destroy builds out there, but time will tell. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming to yet another OTA video. I think this is like my 5th video this week, so we got a lot cooking. I think the next video I'll be doing is over on my Cozy Rivals channel. So if you haven't subscribed here, go ahead and subscribe for your Snap content. And if you haven't and you plan on playing Marvel Rivals, no need to subscribe if you're not. But if you plan on playing that game, I'm going all in. So go ahead and check that out. I'm going to keep shouting that out as we have the collab season coming up soon. Anyway, guys, good luck up there with all the changes. And until the next one, happy snapping. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye.